I survived 100 days in Hardcore RLCraft. Kind of. RLCraft is a mod pack widely regarded as the hardest version of Minecraft ever created. Surviving a single day here could be a challenging feat all by itself. And I'm going to do 100 days with 0 deaths. That's what hardcore means. If you die in the game, your run is over and you have to start over. Now, you may notice my hearts aren't the hardcore hearts. That's because I forgot to actually set it to hardcore mode. But don't let that fool you. I didn't realize this until day 67. What the fuck? So every moment is as real to me as it possibly could be. My world spawn is an unfortunate starting place. I'm in a harsh climate called the Badlands. I know, the good omen right away. But luckily I spot a nearby house and run for shelter. There's mostly nothing of note here, but I grab the bed, which will let us skip the nights, which are filled with terror. And I try to grab the books from the bookshelf. And it's here that I'm remembering some key aspects of RLCraft. Everything is made more difficult, including how you obtain items. After spotting a dragon flying around outside, I decide it's not safe to stay here and make a run for it. No! My goals have immediately changed for the early game, and I'm now looking for gravel. The reason I need gravel is the same reason RLCraft is so famously difficult to survive. This mod pack makes some specific and critical changes to the base game, and if you don't know how to manage those changes, you will certainly die. The first big change you'll be facing is what blocks you can harvest with your bare hands. Recall the bookshelves from 2 seconds ago. It didn't drop books, and this is because we didn't use the proper tool, an axe. Normally this wouldn't be a problem in Minecraft, but in RLCraft, it's everything. The real clincher here is to craft tools. We're going to need some basic materials, and all of which we can't collect with our bare hands. So we have to get clever and work our way up a hidden proficiency tree, and this starts with Flint Tools. Fortunately for us, once you know this, it's a fast journey to our stone tools. So here we are breaking gravel with our fists, waiting for that small chance that Flint will drop. We're going to need 2 or 3 pieces of flint. Now that we have the flint, we need to find the top of some exposed stone so we can break the flint on the ground into fragments. And finally, we can break some of these dead bushes until they give us sticks. With the fragments and the sticks, we can make our flint knife, and from there we can break the grass for a chance at plant fibers. And with plant fibers, we can make the string we need to craft the flint axe. With the flint axe, we can cut down the trees, making a crafting table, and from here, everything is back to normal Minecraft crafting methods. Oh god, why is this so complicated? Now that the better part of my first 2 days are consumed by getting my starter tool sorted, we can think about some other really important aspects of this mod pack. Finding a good food source, shelter, drinkable water, because that's a thing we have to worry about as well. And oh yeah, monitoring our temperature constantly. If there's one thing in this mod pack that I find to be more annoying than challenging, it's the weather system. There's nothing more thrilling than needing to stand by a fire for 10 minutes to warm up or to just sit in a puddle of water to cool down. Yeah, exciting stuff here. Very cool. Anyway, the shelter part is taken care of for us by some lucky spawning algorithm in the form of an Aztec temple. So that's pretty awesome. But I won't be moving in right away because I know the place is filled with monsters and terror and spawners of death. So we'll have to clean house before we move in. So I think I'll mend this small ruin house next door first and make this a temporary shelter while we gear up enough to tackle this temple. Over the next few days, I'm starting to remember more and more about RLCraft. This isn't my first playthrough, and the leveling system kinda hits me like a ton of bricks. Oh god, why did I do this to myself? You see, in RLCraft, you can't simply make better tools and armor and expect to use them. No. That would be too logical, too easy. Instead, you need to get an excessive amount of experience points, and I mean a lot. Like, copious amounts. Like, spoilers? We'll be working on gaining experience points for the most part of this playthrough because it just takes so freaking much. But I will say they've done a good job of making it feel like a progressive system. The early levels for these skills require the least amount of experience points to level up, gradually getting more and more expensive. To get to level 2 of a skill, it'll cost you 2 Minecraft levels. To get to level 3 will cost you 3 levels, and to get to the maximum level of 32, you need to spend 32 levels, which seems fine until you do the math. Ignoring level 1, as you start there with each skill, let's just see how many levels you have to invest to max out a single skill. Level 2 plus level 3 plus 4 plus 5 all the way up to level 32 is a simple addition problem, which comes out to, oh great, 527 levels. That is sickening. That amount of experience points, ugh. But don't forget to multiply that number by 8 because of course you would have to multiply by 8 for the number of skills we have to level up. And it's 4,216 levels just for these 8 skills. So what do? I decided it's time to go mining because you can get a decent pool of XP from harvesting ores, plus we need iron for armor and weapons so we can sack the temple. You know, those mob spawners are going to give us a ton of experience points, and now you can hopefully see why we need that. Don't get your hopes up too high though, because this is RLCraft. Those spawners are rigged to destroy themselves after they've generated a certain number of monsters, so we can't make an XP farm from them. Stupid losers taking away my easy XP farm. As we gain XP from the ores, I'm making sure to spend it as fast as we get it because Minecraft levels aren't equal. It takes more XP to reach the next level than the last, so since the first 10 to 20 levels are relatively easy to reach, I figure spending them quickly means we can fill up again also more quickly. Good choice of words there, Winter. The first skills I'm leveling up are my armor, weapons, and mining skills because mining should allow us to get better materials, and getting better armor and weapons to level 8 means we can actually use the iron we're getting. Here on day 5, yes, it's only day 5. I remember that some monsters can spawn from fire and lava, so I'm thinking we can use that fact to make a small passive XP farm. I'm thinking each time we walk by the door, we'll just take a look in, kill anything that spawned in, and move on. So I'm dropping the lava behind a barrier of iron trapdoors rigged with a lever. Simple as that. Is this a good farm? Hell no. But does it do an alright job? Also hell no. Was it worth building at all? Hell no! No! This thing sucks. Day 6, I'm starting to think about making a renewable source of food so that the problem can be taken care of now, and I'm relearning all of the crops are seasonal as well. This means that wheat won't grow in certain seasons. Kinda like the one that we're currently in. But that's fine. I'll shift gears and I'll treat it as more of a passive thing. Plant everything I have, when I have it, and I'll harvest it when it's ready. If it's ready. Whenever that may be. Can I rely on this to keep me fed? No. So we'll have to unalive all the animals we see as our primary source of food. I spent a little time exploring the immediate surroundings of the temple, kill some sheep, befriend some deer, but ultimately there isn't much of anything nearby, so this is mostly a pointless outing. On day 9 though, I do get our first spawn from a really bad XP farm, which, as it'll turn out, will also be the only spawn from this farm. And that just about wraps up the first 10 days in RLCraft. If it seems like we didn't get a lot done, then you're right, we spent most of it mining trying to scrape up our first few levels. I couldn't do the OP strat of strategic deaths to find the villages quickly, abusing RLCraft's random spawn mechanic, because even though my hearts don't show it, I truly do believe that I did set it to hardcore mode, and dying is not an option. So anyway, the rest of day 10 is some minor prep work leading to the start of the sacking of the temple, and boy do I sack it. I sack it so good. At least up until day 12. I found my first blighted mob. Day 13 and I think I'm a smart boy and I get that blighted foe trap, but I know they're worth a stupid amount of XP, the king of RLCraft, so I use some slabs thinking I can keep it trapped and still attack it. So yeah, that was fun. Anyway, it takes a total of 10 days to fully clear the temple, but I do manage to take my skills from here to here. So, was it worth it? Yes! Because now I have a home and some decently level skills. Between clearing out the space within the temple, managing my temperature, and honestly spending a ridiculous amount of time in the JEI, you know, that mod that tells you what sorts of things you can find in the mod pack and how to craft them and maybe even find them, I'm thinking about bandages. There's something we haven't talked about, the health system. Let's do this fast. If you push the H button, a GUI or GUI or graphical user interface will open displaying how your health is divided among your various body parts. Here you'll notice all the hearts are the same except for those on your head and your body. They have hardcore hearts. In retrospect, that should have been my first hint that I'd forgotten to put my own game into hardcore, but I'm an idiot so I digress. If you run out of hearts on your head or your body, you die automatically. This means your hearts displayed down here can still show you as having nearly full health, but really, you're dead. You suck, go home. However, if you lose most or all of your hearts on your leg, it can make you just move slowly, so basically each section has an effect on your gameplay, but the head and the chest are most important. Skeletons will aim for your face as a result, making them super deadly, so you can see how this is a problem. So yes, bandages. lots of bandages. They heal good. Bandages are actually quite easy to make. Wool and some string. Yep, that's it. You just need string and wool. Thanks to the temple, I have a ton of string, and wool is simply sheep. So day 25, I'm out luring some sheep into a pen so that I can start collecting the good stuff. And on day 27, something has obviously murdered all of my sheep, and I abandoned the idea of keeping my own animals. I'll just kill everything I see from now on. Mostly the sheep. Day 28 rolls around, and now I'm thinking that traveling to nearby villages and dungeons will be a good way to increase my skill levels even more, allowing me to wear better armor and use stronger weapons. So I make sure to activate the waystone near the temple so that I have a fast way traveling home if I venture out too far. I head north and it doesn't take too long, perhaps 200 blocks, and I find one of those houses that have a huge dungeon in the basement, and I get to work. I remember the first few floors are relatively easy, and they are. I stay down there until my inventory becomes basically unmanageable around day 33, so I head back to the temple where I discover I have the right stuff to make a ring of enchanted eyes, which will grant me night vision at all times. Oh yeah. It's just extra equipable slots for things like necklaces, crowns, rings, that sort of thing. But the things that we can put in those spots can have some really broken abilities. But for now, I don't have too much to show. Day 35, I accidentally picked up a block, like with my hands, and not through destroying it. And I realized I could just move all my storage from the ruin house outside into the temple where I was setting up my home. And by day 36, I was no longer living in the house. Day 37 is here now, and I'm really starting to feel like I'm moving way too slowly in this pack. I know there's several bosses added to this pack, and even a new and improved Lost Cities dimension I'm wanting to check out. So let's talk about my goals for these 100 days. I know, right? I'm already this far into the video and I'm only just now talking about what I want to get done. In no particular order, or really there's kind of an order. I want to get my skills decently high. I want a base of operations. I want to start working on getting enchanted gear. I want to find a dragon lair. I want to get my own pet dragon. And then I want to defeat the Wither boss and Ender dragon. And from there, I want to work on my way through the Lost Cities and eventually the Lycanites bosses, which, as I understand it, are the most challenging bosses in the pack. That's it. Those are my goals. Will I complete them all? No. But will I get close? Also no. But now you know where we're standing and what the heck we're doing. So yeah, day 37, I'm starting to feel sluggish, so it's time to head out again. This time, we're going to check out the battle tower next to that house with the dungeon. I try to be a little sneaky and pillar up the side of the tower, breaking through the wall to loot the chest as I go, and before I know it, the tower guardian has spawned in and leaps off the side to attack me. Somehow that fall didn't kill me. Now let's just say, thanks to the random nips granting me passive regen, this guardian should totally have killed me. And he nearly did a few times. Landing in the water has made him really challenging to get close to for melee attacks, and he just keeps blasting me with fireballs. I can't get close to him. So I burn through all my arrows, he regenerates the full health, and I go back to the house dungeon to restock on arrows. It's not enough to kill the guardian, and by day 43, I decide it's just time to give up. The guardian wins, and he can keep his secrets. On day 45, I decide I'm not making enough progress in my skills or level tree. Yes, there's an entire other set of skills I could be leveling up apart from the 8 I've been exclusively talking about. Those cost tons more levels though. So it's time for a real XP farm. A quick Google search shows what appears to be a really promising XP farm, but it only works in version 2.8.2. I'm currently in 2.9.1, so I do a little research to see what's new between the versions, discover some changes like the different chests and bookshelf variants, quickly replace everything I can so as to preserve as much of my loot as possible, and convert my world down. Now that we're in version 2.8.2, I get a little cheeky and I craft up some baubles while I'm in this version that you can't easily get in 2.9.1. I build the XP farm, and by day 48, it's up and running. My goal here is to max out all of my skills and all of my level tree skills that I think will be useful. It takes 11 days and nights, but by day 59, I've done it. All of my skills are maxed out, my combat tree is totally maxed out, and parts of the mining tree are maxed out. Was it worth it to revert to a lower version of this pack? That's a dumb question, and you're stupid for asking it. I did lose some stuff though. Not a lot, and nothing I can really remember, but there were a few times I was trying to make some stuff and thinking, I know I had these items, but then I didn't have those items. So yeah, lost some loot in the conversion, but hey, whatever. After I do some quick enchanting, which I'm now realizing could have been a very bad idea, I restore our game to version 2.9.1 so the XP farm no longer works, but we get all the cool new features back. And by day 61, it's time to head out of the temple again. This time we're going to head south. All I'm thinking about is completing some of the goals, and I have dragons on the brain. Hot tip for hunting dragons: you'll usually find fire dragons, and if you just make yourself a simple potion of fire resist, those dragons are just giant pushovers. Very easy to fight. make fire pots. So on day 62, I locate a mega battle tower. And if my monkey brain is remembering correctly, there's some really good loot in these towers. So what do? I try to cheese it, of course. I pillar up the side, but I quickly find myself inside the tower wishing I wasn't there, and eventually climbing most of the way to the top, and I'm seeing Vexes flying around, and I'm starting to panic. They're gonna knock me off the side? So I figure it's time to leave. I'm not ready for this place yet. Fortunately, this mega battle tower isn't the only thing in this area. There's one of those castle things on the water just off the coast. There's a dragon's nest nearby, and as you can see, there's boss bars. My goals do include taking on bosses and dragons, so I head on over, and I make quick work of the dragon. Like, seriously, these guys are nothing if you have a fire pot. And thanks to the gilded great worm being set on fire by something, I can roughly see where I'm supposed to dig to get to it. So with a few well-placed arrows, it falls in no time. Moving deeper into the dungeon, I find the Crypt Executioner, who again just dies to a barrage of arrows. And finally, the Guardian Dragon is the last foe we meet, but I have to use all of my throwing knives to finish this guy. I used all my arrows earlier. And that's 3 subpar bosses defeated. It feels good completing goals, doesn't it? Oh, and there's rewards in this dungeon beyond the Guardian Dragon room, and now our bobble game is getting really strong. We're slowly becoming resistant to most of the bad Minecraft effects. On day 67, I come face to face with a second red dragon, and after taking it down, I'm able to craft a set of dragon armor. And now we're really getting strong. But by day 71, I've managed to roam the desert mostly in vain of anything actually worthwhile, but then I find a desert palace. I remember these places being a lot more dangerous, but in truth, I walked in, broke all the spawners, fought a few underwhelming foes, and discovered the walls are made of gold. I'm not sure yet what I will be using all this gold for, but I take a lot of it. Not all of it, but a lot. It's day 72, and I'm stunned I haven't found a single village yet. I want to find a dragon lair too, but I really feel like finding a few villages first will really help me to improve my gear. I'm mostly interested in libraries and librarians. And finally, on day 73, we do manage to find our first village. Good news, it does have a library. And even better, one of the librarians is trading a Strengthened Vitality 4 book, and I managed to buy 2 of the books. But now I'm thinking I only needed to buy 1, because it wouldn't let me enchant any of the other pieces of armor. Just the chestplate. Regardless, this is a huge boost to our health, adding something like 8 hearts. That on top of consuming 10 heart crystal things throughout the rest of this playthrough has made us decently beefy. Recall earlier the H button showing us our health divided among our body parts, and you'll see our head and chest have far more health than before. This is really good for us. This did take several days to accomplish though. Getting the emeralds took some work, so by day 77, I'm out again and exploring Mirmix Hive. I think I'm saying that right. Mirmix? No idea why I'm actually in here, I just thought that killing a queen sounded like fun. And sure enough, it wasn't. And it died in a couple of swings. However, I do find that the hive is connected to a mineshaft, so my exploration isn't quite done yet. Inside there's some okay loot, but I did find 3 shulker shells, so now gathering new loot is far easier to manage because I'm able to craft a shulker box. Oh, the joys of finding things you normally wouldn't find joy in. And then it happened. On day 78. I'm just running through the mineshaft and led me to some caves, and my brain was just like, hey, there might be dragons in there. And I'm like, okay, let's go look and see if there's any dragons in there. And Blackstone! I see the Blackstone, the signature block that indicates a dragon's lair. I do have a small caveat though. My computer has historically threatened my life and well-being for loading in stage 4 and 5 dragons without first disabling their ability to grief blocks. My computer would certainly spontaneously combust into a fireball of death, and it wouldn't just be my avatar with sick burns. So yes, this dragon is trapped. Caveats aside, I am 100% confident that I could have easily jumped into the lair and unalive this beast with melee combat, but why should I risk it when my computer is kind of a pussycat about it and makes them a lot easier? With the dragon dead, I go to loot the body so that I may complete another goal on this list, and as luck would have it, I can check off Pet Dragon from that list twice. That's right, baby, I got 2 eggs. By day 79, both dragons have hatched, and my new goal is to gather as much meat as I can. Between finding a ton of meat and all the bones I got from the XP farm, my new goal is to craft a bunch of dragon bone meal so that I can raise one of the dragons to stage 3, giving me a flying mount. That'll make life a lot easier. And on day 84, the goal is reached. The green dragon is flyable, and we're off. About 1,000 blocks or so from home, we'll find a new village, and this one happens to have a mega battle tower. So it's time to see how useful the dragon will be. I fly to the top of the tower, quickly put it back inside its dragon horn, and start digging into the treasure room. Did you know they added blight battle tower golems to these things? Yeah. Me either. I let loose an arrow and this guy is blowing up the floor I'm standing on, and it quickly becomes a fight to the death. I'm actually scared here. Blights are overpowered monsters, and this is on top of the fact that he's kind of a mini-boss of sorts. But even to my own surprise, the fight is actually pretty easy. The dragon, I think, has proven its worth. The tower is looted, and I'm feeling kinda smug about the whole thing. The loot isn't anything special, but with time and our 100 days running out, I'm feeling even more pressure to get stuff done. So it's time to head home and work on our base. That's something I at least know I can do. Between days 93 and 98, I managed to clear out the entirety of the temple, giving us a huge amount of space to work with, and I can even let both dragons out to chill. I set up a wall of fire for the winter, another portal frame for when I decide we should go to the nether, and can you believe we haven't actually been in the nether yet? I moved the enchanting station to another wall with more space, moved the brewing stands, and expanded our storage so we have far more room for future looting. Most of the time went into clearing the temple. That was kind of a slow and painful process. But now on day 98, I'm not really sure what else we can accomplish that won't take me over the 100 days, so I go north seeking villages. In all this time, I haven't found any grapes. You can turn grapes into wine, and drinking wine can make potion effects last a lot longer. It's something I've wanted to do from the beginning but haven't had the chance to get. As luck would have it, we do find a village, and it has a huge vineyard, I think. Anyway, this is the first one I've ever seen, so I can only imagine it's a large one. I snag up all the grapes, and I find they grow back at a pretty fast rate, so we end up leaving with just over 2 stacks. And back at the temple on day 100, the final day, I have constructed some crushing tubs and a few barrels for making our wine, and just like that, we're out of time. The 100 days are over. Did we complete all of our goals? I already told you the answer earlier. No, we didn't. You need to start listening. Did I learn anything from this experience? Yes. Always check to make sure you actually put the game in hardcore mode, you stupid moron! Now I know no one will believe me, and I've surely already gotten a million comments about it, but even though I forgot to select the hardcore setting, I really did think I was playing in hardcore up until around day 67 when I strongly considered starting over completely. I decided I'd just let you guys believe whatever you want, and I'll only add this one little spot to defend myself. Now, if you want to see me play another hardcore series, you should click this card here where I survived the world of Sword Art Online last life. That's right, there's a Sword Art Online mod pack, and I was there for its debut. Thank you for watching. Bye!